Welcome to the Recovery Lab podcast. We're glad you were able to join us. Recovery Lab hopes to destigmatize addiction and normalize recovery.
Our platform provides an avenue to share the many stories of those that have recovered from addiction, providing for the listener the most basic antidote to addiction: hope.
All right, everybody. We're back. Today, you're welcome in advance, our listeners. It's just going to be Daniel and me chatting about things that we've thought and discussed of late.
That's correct. Let me make sure we're live on the old platforms here, though, and we got good sound.
Is it broadcasting to Facebook on my page?
Yeah, it should be.
Good.
Test 1, 2, test 1, 2. Okay, good. All right.
So first, I would like to say that as the week went on after having Michelle on last week, and Michelle, I hope you hear this, I really was taken, surprised pleasantly by how she had integrated into her life as a parent those things that she had learned in her recovery from the eating disorder.
Right.
And I have thought about that all week. The things that she tries to instill in her daughters about fat is a bad word, and we don't think about being good food versus bad food, and the few other things that she does. And I thought how wonderful that is to have had a problem, to have had an issue, to have sought treatment for it, and then taken the proactive steps to integrate healthy measures and a healthy mindset into her kids' lives. In recovery, I mean, that's the gold standard. That's as good as it gets. And I hope that she is as proud of herself as she should be.
Yeah, I think it was great. It was a great conversation. And also, real quick before we get started here, let me go. This episode is brought to you by
Sugar-free Red Bull.
Sugar-free Red Bull.
He gives you low-calorie wings.
Wait, let me.
Somewhere,
okay, great.
Some copyright AI engine is flagging our episode. Fair use doctrine.
That's right.
I forgot about that.
That's right.
Had to whip that out.
Absolutely. All right. So what are we going to talk about today?
Well, so thank you for asking. So born out of my having been so impressed and proud of Michelle, I thought, what are the ways that I am succeeding or failing in trying to incorporate into my life as a father things that I've learned as a gentleman in recovery. So, so my oldest child is 13. So I think I smoked pot for the first time when I was about 15. So it's right around the corner.
Yeah.
And you have a teenager.
I do.
That's older than my oldest child. So you will have more insight possibly than I do. And I wondered, I only have my older kids, a couple evenings a week for dinner and dicking off, and then every other weekend. So I don't get the opportunities to sow into them the lessons that I've learned as much as I do Thomas, the baby that's with me full time.
Right.
So it's because, when I do have my older kids, and I just had them this weekend, and I've mulled over this, and it's so hard to work into conversation, some valuable life lesson. Oh, well, let me tell you how you should really feel about this.
Right. When you have such a limited time.
because you're met with, oh, Dad, no. I mean, I went to talk to Andrew one time about sexting, and I thought he was going to literally climb out of the car. I get it, man. I get it, buddy. I probably would have climbed out of the car too if Danny had whooped out something about, let me tell you what they're doing these days. I heard about it on the Today Show. But it really is. I mean, there's
it's hard. It's definitely hard when you don't have them all the time.
Yeah. Well, since you have yours all the time and he's a teenager, what lessons can you give us? What tidbits? Juicy advice.
Juicy advice. Well, the number one thing is if I appear as though I'm being judgmental, things immediately go awry. Now, there's a fine line between being their friend and being their parent. I mean, that's a line that, I'm not his friend. I'm his dad. But when I approach conversations and things, the number one thing that I try to do is just be honest about my past. And just explain what happened to me. And a lot of that is what I learned. I mean, well, all of it I learned in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous. Because I really didn't know how to talk to anyone without appearing as though I was better than them or less than them. I really didn't understand.
Meeting as equals.
Right. So, I mean, the number one thing for me 100% was just meeting him where he's at, sharing my experience, strength, and hope with my life, and then trusting God to be in the results business and have him, teach Riley the lessons that he has to learn. And it's difficult to say, but I can't save him from having to learn life's lessons.
Well said. Yes.
He has to fall on his face, and learn to get back up. He has to lose and learn how to get back up. He has to get bloodied in the arena and get back up. I can't teach him that. I can't teach him. And all of those things are precisely what build character. If everything is handed to you, if everything is, given to you on a silver platter and your parents are, hovering over you, making sure that you never have a misstep or never have to learn any lessons, they are doing their children a disservice.
I'm reminded again, I saw an episode of the Patrick Bet-David podcast, and I think Jordan Peterson was on there. I may be wrong about who was on there. They may have been talking about Jordan Peterson, but the segment that I'm talking about. So one of the guys was saying, "Hey, it turns out the real boogeyman out there is not adversity. The real boogeyman out there is a permissive lifestyle and having had everything catered to your needs." Because, you're right. It is experience that is the most valuable teacher. And what a tricky and delicate balance it is to walk that line with your own kids, trying to keep them from having scars and also not doing everything for, and not allowing the wisdom that comes from experience, the wisdom that comes from loss and perseverance.
Right. And it's a delicate line, but what I've kind of learned in sobriety is, I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to worry about what God has in plan for Riley. And God is, Riley is going to have some difficult situations. And, one could kind of get tied up into the, really, really wanting to protect their kid. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with protecting your kids, but I feel like from my own experience, I have a boundary in place to allow my son to make mistakes and for me to be okay with those mistakes and be there when he gets back up and encourage him when he gets back up. But I don't have the responsibility. He knows the difference between right and wrong, right? He's 17 years old. He knows the difference between right and wrong. He has the choices to make. He can do the right thing or do the wrong thing and pay the consequences. I remove myself from that whole equation. I'm there to support him. I'm there to love him. I'm there to share my experience with life, but he's going to have to fall on his face. He's going to have to learn those hard lessons just like I did. And it's not comfortable. It sucks. It sucks a lot. So, and I know that for my own life. I don't know if everyone else is like that. I kind of think they might be, but I had to, my parents were great. They were supportive. They were loving. But they can't protect me from having to learn life's hard lessons. And again, that's what builds character. So I'm like I said, I'm there to support Riley, and I'm there to support, whatever his decisions are, but I'm not going to co-sign his bullshit. I'm not, he's not going to come to me, and I'm not going to give him the green light to do something that I know is going to be difficult. If he asks me a question, I'll answer candidly and like, hey, this could cause problems. It did for me when I was going through this exact same thing. It may not for you, but if you do make this decision and things go awry, you're going to have to pay the consequences for that. And he's aware of, that there are consequences for action. So I just remove myself from the equation and trust God to take care of him and to help him learn and grow. I'm not responsible for his growth. I'm there to be a loving, compassionate, encouraging parent.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I can't hover. I can't do it.
Well, it's just too much responsibility thinking that you've got to fix everything.
And kind of, who the hell do I think I am? Like, I can't fix everyone's problems.
Nobody can even fix all of my own.
Right. Like, right. So, I take a step back and trust God to be in the results business. I stay in my lane. Try to.
Well, it certainly would even sets you up, you personally, for a life of constant sorrow and heartache, thinking you've got to fix everything.
Mm-hmm.
One of the most valuable lessons I ever got from a therapist was old Victor at the Harbor House. And I don't remember how it came up. He asked me, so, well, what are you going to do about some? And I was like, I don't know. I'm real fretting about it. And he's like, well, you don't always have to do something. And that has turned out to be true. Sometimes the best action is just do nothing.
Yeah, that was a hard lesson for me to learn. It was, because I want to interject myself because, a lot of times I think that I'm right. Anytime that I do that, there's really not an exception to this rule for me. Anytime that I try to place myself in the middle of something, it always goes not great.
Yes.
So, I hit my head against the wall enough times and got blood all over my face from not learning my lessons over and over and over again, that now I'm kind of like, oh, okay. Like, this is not my responsibility. This is a life lesson that is happening right now in front of my face. And I have no
there is such a sense amongst people in recovery that I must do something.
Yeah.
I must have some input in this circumstance, this situation. And sometimes literally doing nothing is the best option.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of it, at least for a lot of people that are in recovery, when we were out there hustling and doing our thing, we were in survival mode. So if we didn't do something, if there was a problem and we didn't do something, we either wouldn't have food, we wouldn't have our dope, we wouldn't have our alcohol. Like, inaction is not something that an alcoholic or an addict is really good at.
Can permit.
When they're trying to get their dope or trying to get their drug of choice, whatever that may be. So, it's a difficult thing to now get into sobriety and be like, no, there are times where I just need to sit and let things play out, let things unravel or unroll whatever, whatever they're going to do, I just have to take a step back. And that was really, really difficult for me because I was always, in control, or had the perceived notion that I was in control of everything in my life when, the reality was everything was completely out of control. But I did, not doing something was not an option for me.
Well, it is counterintuitive.
Yeah.
And I have seen, born out of many different instances this time around in recovery, where ultimately things just work out better if I just keep my head down, my hand on the plow, and keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Stay sober, keep working my program, and things magically seem to work out. Like, for example, I remember when I've said this so many times, I remember when I was at the City of Refuge, and I literally just could not conceive of how I was ever going to get back home, how I was ever going to get back in my kids' lives. Like, there really was just no roadmap. I was about 3 hours away, jobless, penniless, hopeless, aimless, everythingless. And I found some comfort in, look, I'm just going to trust God, trust the program of recovery, trust that things will improve over time, provided I don't make them worse. And that's what happened. I could not have even conceived of the plan that ultimately brought me back to Jackson, and it worked out just fine. It was great.
Yeah. Yeah. Oftentimes, something that's important for me as well is just to shut my mouth.
That's a tough one.
I mean, just shut up. Just shut up. Your input is not needed right now. You can be supportive, you can be loving, you can be caring, but what I want to solve problems, right? That's generally something that a lot of men share in common.
Yes.
We see a problem, right? Well, we want to solve that problem. And, we've gone through enough to be able to, wrap our heads around, well, what might be the best solution for me if, in this particular scenario. And it took me a long time to be like, not talk negatively, have that internal, shut up. You don't need to say anything, but just more like, hey, all of my parts coming together, we may have a solution that could be helpful in this situation, but let's hold back. Let's let this play out. If our input is asked, certainly share it. But, sometimes I just need to just take a step back and just kind of let things happen and not offer a solution. I think that's something that I'm really, really good at is, I see a problem. Let me show you how to fix this.
I wish that I had learned that lesson early in my marriage.
Oh yeah. I would be the president right now if I had learned that.
Because Kimberly would come and say, X, Y, and Z is wrong. And I'd be like, well, I completely understand how it is because you've been doing this. And because you did this, it is now, there's a problem.
Right.
And that was not met with the appreciation that I thought that it would be. Like, you came to me belly aching about something and I'm fixing to help you fix it. And you're mad at me now.
Yeah.
Don't hate on me for telling you the truth.
Yeah.
About how you got yourself into this problem.
Right.
So, and I'm not the world's best at keeping that to myself even today, but I am a little better. A little bit.
Well, that's progress.
The progress, not perfection.
That's right.
So I think I saw on Facebook one time where somebody was joking about, when their girlfriend came bitching to them and they was like, look, are you solution oriented right now? Or is this, you just need some compassion?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, do you want a solution or do you want me to just listen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cause it's
wise, but
it
difficult
baffles
to do.
me. I mean, women do seem to be more, I just want to gripe to you and I want you to listen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, look, let's address this.
Right.
It's pretty obvious to any objective observer why you're having this particular problem.
Right.
It's because
and what the solution could be. Yeah.
If you would only refrain from doing this, or
Right.
would only start doing this, you'd literally not have this problem.
Right.
And, you know,
well, that's not helpful right now. I just need you to listen. Okay.
Right.
But it gets to a point like
I'm not
where you hear
singling
that,
you out. If anybody said this to me, this would be my response to them.
Yeah. But when there's a problem, right. And there's a clear solution, but the female wants you to just listen. There comes a point where I'm tired of, like, you get tired of listening. Like
I've seen this episode.
You're crying and bitching about the exact same thing you were crying and bitching about last week, but you're not willing to take any sort of like
corrective action
whatsoever. So like there becomes a point where you're just kind of like, well, shit, you're on your own, man. Like, either make some changes or shut up. Like I just,
yes.
What are you doing, bro? Yeah, no, I'm right there with you, Drew.
I don't know what else to say about that. Leave that one alone.
We'll be getting mail, sure, about this one. Fuck it. I mean, we're being truthful, being honest.
Yes. I mean, I would want, if I came a bitching to some of my friends, I would want them to say, well, I mean, last week you were blah, blah, blah. What do you think was going to happen?
Right. Well, I just wanted you to listen to me, Drew. Like, no, those aren't friends. Like, those are people that, like, they're...
Go call your girlfriend.
Yeah.
Go call your homie.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think you and I have a pretty good rapport. I mean, we can, we bounce things off each other, and I think it's very, very helpful, but you don't co-sign my bullshit and I don't co-sign yours.
It's perfect. And it's great.
It's just that easy.
It's good.
And we'll end it at that. No,
it's a great episode. That's 20
if
minutes
women would just
solid.
listen to us. I'm not saying that we're always right.
We ought to take calls
wrong.
for marital relationship problems.
We really should.
It ended up being like the fruitcake lady on Jay Leno. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That was funny.
All right. So what else?
We're kind of blowing through the topics here. We talked about, how to incorporate recovery life lessons into parenting, and talked about how our wives don't do right sometimes and don't appreciate the great advice we give them.
Yeah. The honest, I mean, we're just trying to be helpful.
Yeah. Because if you're happier, I'm happier. My life is better.
Yeah. But it's not always, I mean, happy wife, happy life, not always true.
That could be a codependency textbook.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not, okay. She's unhappy, so I'm unhappy.
Yeah. No, maybe not. Maybe,
I don't know why I've got a cough today.
I don't know, but it just started when we started recording.
I got COVID.
Oh God. All right. What other life lessons can we offer to these 0 people that are currently watching?
If you build it, they will come.
Yeah, exactly. What else?
You know what blows my mind?
What?
Is you can have a podcast called is either Call You Daddy or Call Me Daddy, where the topics can be, the correct size of dildo for your asshole. And you can somehow get a presidential candidate on as a guest. And here we are with like legit life-saving information. And
I mean, we're just not controversial. We're not, there's no controversy here. you know, we need to you know what we need to do. This is what we need to do. We need to somehow incorporate murder or like or just murder. Like we need to incorporate talking about murder somehow into our podcast, and the numbers would skyrocket. Yeah. Because I mean, it's one of my clients has investigation homicide and they're killing it. And it's just,
I fall back.
It's all about murder. And it's
what we need.
That's what we're lacking. We're lacking murder
to mix, the lurid underbelly of the drug use life. We need a drug dealer to come on the episode, and a pimp and a prostitute, all who are actively engaged in those crimes. And you know, it could be like soft white underbelly. That guy's got it going on. Right.
I mean, we've talked about that.
Hey, listen, if you're out there and you're listening to this, if you know a drug dealer, we can make arrangements for them to come on, no video, maintain their anonymity, and talk to them about what it's like as a drug dealer.
Yeah. You know what? I think we should probably do these interviews on location.
From the trap house.
Or the road outside the trap house. And this is my reasoning. When I was in active addiction, I had very, very sticky fingers. And I'm not 100% convinced that I want a bunch of people in active addiction coming all up in here. And things start, I don't know, disappearing. And I'm not being judgmental or, but that's the way I was. If I need a little dope, and
they call it hitting a lick.
Yeah. I don't want to be a lick, bro.
Yeah, I mean, get it how you live.
Yeah. So, I mean, we could definitely, go to the streets and taking it to the streets and,
man on the street.
Yeah.
We'll go hang out on, Beasley Atkins on Friday night in front of the Hojo.
Right.
With a, cheap and watching her and twerk. Because after he paid for it.
Okay, we got to grow up.
It's funny, though.
It's fun.
Unnecessary censorship.
All right, we got to continue here.
Look, here's what.
Yeah.
2 a.m.
Save us here.
Waffle
Save
House.
Us. Hey, that's not a bad idea.
Because if you're in Waffle House at 2 a.m., you have either just broken the law or you're about to.
Yeah.
No two ways about it.
And I do have those wireless mics.
Let's put them to use. Hey, can we interview you? What are you doing? All right, so look, here's what we got to do. We got to go to Waffle House at 2 a.m.
Okay.
Look for a heavy-set white girl with a black guy.
Uh-huh.
That's guaranteed to be who we need.
Absolutely. And we'll just interview him.
Yeah. How did y'all come to be at the Waffle House at 2 a.m.?
Which Waffle House, though? Are we?
The one off Beasley Atkins.
Didn't they shut it down?
I think they shut the one down on North Side. Isn't there one immediately adjacent to the McDonald's on Beasley, across from
where
the
the Chili's is?
No, one exit north of there.
Maybe. I don't know. I've never been to it. If it is there. Yeah, we can definitely talk about it.
It's right next to the extended stay. Or it was.
Makes sense. Yeah, we can definitely talk about it. I mean, I don't know. Like I think we're just very vanilla with the podcast. I mean, we're definitely helping. We're definitely, getting information out there and people are receiving it. But let's be honest, there's no murder. There's no serial killers.
No lurid underbelly.
There's no, yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, we're coming up on our 100th episode. Today's 93. So we got 7 weeks to really take this to the next level. I feel like. I think maybe for the 100th episode, we should.
I'll talk to you about this off the recording.
Why?
I just thought of something.
What?
You have possible inroads into this world. For people for whom you produce podcasts.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who would we get though? Like, who are we thinking? We thinking about like criminals,
Yes, criminals.
pimps, hoes, scallywags, scallywops.
A whole thing.
Oh.
Player haters ball.
Okay. Yeah, maybe. We'll talk about it. And also like, Ricky's commenting. Yeah, if anybody has any questions or things that they would like to comment, Ricky Gray.
Hey, Ricky.
Thanks for being a champion of the podcast. Good to see you. Hello to you. Ricky gets it. I mean, that's great.
Word to Ricky.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think we're.
You know where? Surely there's a Waffle House in Pearl.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not just singling out black drug dealers. There are plenty of white ones.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
If you got a rickety old pickup truck with different size tires,
Or Crown Vic also would be a pretty good indicator
okay,
that there may be some.
it's going on in Pearl.
Oh, there's a lot of stuff going on in Pearl. Let me tell you about this, bro. Well, no, I don't want to.
Speak on it.
Oh, I don't know, man. We were at the Pearl. I don't want. No, we're not going to talk negatively about. No.
All right. Well, listen. Today's episode doesn't have to be an hour or anything.
No. Consistency is key. It's good to hop on.
It is. And I don't want to lay out all the nitty-gritty details, but whenever you're thinking, oh, I wish this was different in my life, I wish this was different in my life, like there's somebody in my sphere the past 2 weeks that really has had a tremendous tragedy in her life. She's an attorney, and if I were her, I would just lay awake at night and think, God is surely against me.
Yeah. Is this that lady that you texted me about?
Yeah. I mean, what just unbelievable heartbreak.
Yeah.
That all that
I
could
know.
happen to one person. You know, she has small kids, and my heart just breaks for her because she's a sweet person. She's a kind person.
Yeah, I know. I mean, life is not fair, but
It's not.
I mean, there's got to be a silver lining somewhere. Maybe not right now, but there has to be.
Well, I did text you about it. And
Yeah.
I told you some of the details, and I did appreciate that, you said, look, she can overcome it and can be there for somebody else who has to forge the difficult road of trauma and heartbreak. And
Yeah, but it doesn't make it easier right now.
it doesn't. It does not. I thought about Sean Guy telling his sponsor about his, the infidelities of his wife, or I don't know, something. And the sponsor's like, well, what was your role in it? And I thought, gosh, that's rough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you've got to, it really kind of changes the way you think of things.
Yeah. I mean, 99.99% of my problems are of my own making.
For sure.
And that lady, I mean, she's got a difficult road ahead of her, but hopefully she has a support network, people that care about her, and there's got to be something good that comes out of it. I mean, I just that's just the way my mind is wired, man.
Well, and for good reason. I have listened to, I think it was Dylan Klebold's, one of the Columbine shooters.
Yeah.
His mother is a pretty impressive public speaker. And I have listened to her TED Talk, like not being funny, her legit TED Talk.
Yeah.
And it was really good. And, she talked about what it's like to be the mother of someone who committed such a heinous crime. And I thought, what a way to make something profitable out of heartbreak and misery.
Yeah. I mean, the has.
Look, it's the only way. If you're gonna be involved in something awful, drug addiction, or have a family member that does something awful, or your kid does something awful, the only way really to get over it is to deal with it, process it, and
walk through it
and use it.
Yeah.
Use it for someone else's benefit so that it's all not for naught.
And suddenly it becomes, healing. Be able to help, It's tough, man. I hate that happened to her, but like I said, hopefully she's got some people that wrap their arms around her, and sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks. Well, you got anything else?
I'm tapped out.
I am too. This has been a good episode. I think, I don't know. Are we going to have a guest next week? Who do we have next week?
I don't know. We've got something cooking.
Okay. Did you have something?
Yeah, I've got something cooking.
Okay, cool. All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in for this short episode, and we'll see you next week, hopefully with a
real live guest.
With a real live guest. All right. Thanks so much, guys.